Do you have a DS4 or PlayStation 4 controller that either refuses to charge or refuses to power on? Well, I'll show you step by step on how you can fix this problem. The first thing you want to check is make sure that your USB cable isn't faulty. You can maybe try a different USB cable, or maybe even try a USB cable from a good brand like Sony, or even some of the old Nokia chargers. The next thing you can try, if that doesn't work, is you can use this WD-40 contact solution. You just spray it onto the connector. You can also use a cotton bud to really clean and wipe the USB connector to make sure there's no faults. If that still doesn't fix the problem, then what I recommend you do is you go out and you buy a new connector, a new battery, and also the ribbon. So the ribbon will come with the new connector. The thing you need to check is make sure that the right part number is bought. So you would need to take your controller apart first, check the part number on the USB connector, and then purchase that based off the part number that you might find on eBay. The other thing with the battery is there's a lot of dodgy batteries out there. You don't know which one's real or fake, and to be honest, you probably will never know. What I would recommend, however, is if you buy one where you've got the CE mark on the back, or you've got the UR symbol, but of course both of those can be easily faked, and 9 times out of 10 they probably are. Next thing you want to do is take the 4 screws off the back of the controller and lift off the back cover, starting from the bottom of the controller where you usually hold it, and then prying it up. The trick is that the L2 and R2 buttons, they usually pop off and they come off as you're taking the back cover off. So just be very gentle and careful, just wiggle it backwards and forwards, and eventually that back case will come off. You can see I'm pushing the L2 and R2 buttons down just to get the back cover off. Once you've done that, you're going to have a ribbon cable connecting to the USB connector, and the thing you want to do here is be very careful not to damage that, although you are going to be replacing it anyway. Then you want to take this white bracket off, and that lifts off from one side. Then you've got this clear plastic cover that you want to just peel back. You don't want to take the adhesive contacts off. You just want to bend it backwards so you can get access to that USB connector. There's usually 2 screws holding the USB connector in place, but for some reason in this case they're missing. So you want to remove those 2 screws, and obviously when you're done you want to put it back in. Disconnect the ribbon connector, and then you want to take the USB connector out of the back panel. It can be a little bit tricky to get out. You just need to wiggle it around and then it will come off. Right, so now you've got the USB connector out, you want to grab your new one, and the first thing you want to do is put in your little ribbon cable. The reason for this is because once it's in place, it's going to be really hard to get to. You need to lift up the little black plastic tab. You may or may not have this, and you want to put in the blue end onto the end. You can see where the contacts are on that little USB connector, so make sure you've got the silver contacts making contact with the silver contacts on the PCB board. Then you simply want to do the reverse. Put the USB connector in place, making sure you put the 2 screws in place to make sure it's held in nicely. See, I didn't do that here because they were missing. And then once you've done that, then the other end of the USB, the ribbon connector, then connects back to the controller. Before you do that, actually, what you really want to do is you want to make sure that you replace the battery first, just because it gives you easy access to the connector on the battery. The thing to remember with the battery is there's 2 different type of connectors on it. There's the old type connector and the new type connector. So again, I think it'll be fruitful to make sure that you take your controller apart first, make sure you understand which version of the controller you have, and then purchase the right battery for that particular controller. So what you want to do now is put your front panel back down, and then you want to pick up the main body of the controller, and in here is simply a little connector that you've got attached to the battery. All you need to do is you just need to wiggle that around and pull it out. It is a bit stiff because it's been in there for years probably, and the battery is almost certainly gone bad. You just pull out the old battery and then you just put in the new one. And what you want to do is a little tie down or a little clip in place on that battery holder where you want to route the wires through, just to make sure it's nice and tidy in there. And you know, we've got all the battery wires out of the way. Now you've got the new battery in place, and you are now ready to essentially put the ribbon cable back on. Again, this can be a little bit fiddly because you're holding both the parts and you're trying to sort of hold them together. but what you need to do is just take your time and make sure that the metal contacts are in contact with the metal contacts on the ribbon cable. It's very easy to make the mistake of putting the cable around the wrong way round, so just make sure you've got that ribbon connector in the correct way. After that, all you need to do is then pop the back panel back on and put the 4 screws back in, and hey presto, you can just check your controller, make sure it charges, and make sure that the battery lasts. So you could go for a couple of gaming sessions to make sure it lasts a good period of time. So I just wanted to take this opportunity for, if you lasted this long in this video, thank you very much for watching the whole video. And the other thing as well is, if you like this kind of content, if you like retro build PCs, or even just general gaming PC builds, even 3D printing, please make sure you like and subscribe my videos, and I'll come out and make new content like this for you. I've got some really exciting ideas that I want to come out with over the next couple of days. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.